Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to cilinixfxcapital. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video here on Dogecoin. We're going to do a full update, technically, fundamentally as well, even though fundamentally there's not much we have to talk about regarding Dogecoin. I want to say a short bit about a Dogecoin ETF and the possibility of that because of some earlier news coming from the SEC, so we will talk about that. But in general, there's something else going on which I think is more interesting, and there actually is something going on. So I'll show you here at the start so you know what we'll talk about. But you can see that since Thursday, the 20th of March, we've actually gained a pretty substantial amount of open interest right here. Now, I cannot fully retrieve where all that open interest is going, because if you take a look at CoinGlass here, which is one of my main sources of data, you can actually not fully see that that open interest increase. You can also see that the open interest is increasing, but not as much as right here. But that means that a lot of positions are being opened on Dogecoin right now. And it seems like most of those are short positions, which could be interesting because then we can talk about a potential short squeeze and some sort of a move back up to 18.5 cents. So we will talk about that, but that's in general an interesting development. So we'll talk about that. In general, talking about Dogecoin right now, I mean, Dogecoin obviously has not been doing much, as I've said in my last videos, and I still think that's the truth. Dogecoin is still on a week-to-week basis losing volume. Dogecoin used to be a top 5 coin in hourly volume for a very, very long time. Right now it's not even in the top 10. You can see volume right now is also at $650 million. That's also relatively low. And you can also, like, that's the lowest it's been in the last month. And on the higher time frames, Dogecoin is in a downtrend. So those are kind of the key fundamentals and the key aspects you need to know regarding Dogecoin for now. And then on the short term, like I said, there are some possibilities. I mean, after finding strong support here at 15 cents, Dogecoin has been relatively resilient, obviously also because Bitcoin has been relatively resilient. But Dogecoin itself has been relatively resilient as well. Between this level right here at 16 cents as our main support level, and then that level at 18 cents as our main resistance level. And that's also the first, at least, key level we would have to break above to turn bullish. Do I expect us to turn bullish? No, unfortunately not. All right. Now, what we heard last week is that the SEC right now says that every proof of work cryptocurrency is a commodity. So Dogecoin is a proof of work cryptocurrency, so therefore it's a commodity, so therefore the chances of it getting an ETF are higher. But what you see very often is that if the market actually had appetite for a Dogecoin ETF and the potential of which, then we would see some price action and we would see some momentum coming in. That's not the case, all right? And the market is always right. Maybe we see some sort of a major spike if we actually do get some more, definitive news that we are getting a Dogecoin ETF, even though I think long-term that also wouldn't be very interesting for investors, but all right. So that's a possibility, but for now, that's a possibility, but purely technically, purely based on the fundamentals we have right now, I don't expect a bullish breakout. Now, like I said, if you take a look at the order flow, that's interesting. You can see, especially right here, since the open interest has been increasing. Well, let's take this point. I mean, the CVD is making lower lows and the open interest is going up. So even though this is not only short positions, that's definitely not true. It seems to be primarily short positions. So that creates quite a lot of liquidity to the upside. So I would argue, as long as Bitcoin remains relatively stable here, that Dogecoin is going to be able to hold the support level at 16 cents, and that we can still see some sort of a short liquidation hunt here to the top of the resistance. But like I said, under the current circumstances, I don't see that level being broken. So from there, I would expect a move back down. And ultimately, unfortunately, I also still think that a move down to lower lows at 15 cents is most likely. But those are my thoughts. I think that's what you need to know. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all in my next videos, and bye.